So welcome everyone. And I'm so happy to see some of you with your cameras on. It's always so great. I want to say Happy New Year, but it's still not the new year. And really for me today, I was messaging my team saying like, what if we lived like today was our last day? What would you choose different? I stayed up late, but woke up early and my body wanted to go swim. So I've already been to the pool and I joined this water exercise class. So I felt like a kid, like just playing and splashing in water was so much fun. But for me, part of this call is not to be sad or upset of what we didn't create, but to be excited and have that enthusiasm to know that we can choose something different all the time, that there's always choice. No matter what's up in your world, finances, relationship, kids, whatever that is, like what if you get to choose one more thing that's going to bring that joy to you, whatever it is. One of my sisters, many of you know, Cindy, who lives really close by, we do a lot of things together. And she invited me to her gym. So I got a membership while I'm here in California. And I was like, all right, I'll go. And so I messaged her, I'm going to the gym. Would you like to come? And she goes, well, I actually woke up like my body would like to go for a hike. And it's those moments where, you think you got to hang out with someone or like and maybe sometimes that's the target. But this morning, I honored my body. I honored me by choosing to go to the pool where there was no one I knew. And all the ladies were, I'm not going to say how old, but all had gray hair. And I might have a few, but not that many. And they were all so kind and happy. And I didn't know how to do the locker. I was like, I had my goggles and my my swim cap ready to go. And oh, you don't need that. And good thing I had a hat for the sun. So, but it was this joy and adventure of not getting it perfect, of truly honoring what my body wanted to choose, even though that meant I wasn't going to hang out this morning with my sister. So how many of you are not honoring you and your body because you want to include everybody around you? So everything that is and everything that brings up, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pun pack, all hundreds, shorts, boys, poveds, creations, bases, and beyonds. For those of you that do not know the clearing statement and are interested to know a little bit more about access consciousness, you can go to theclearingstatement.com. You can also explore accessconsciousness.com. But these are the tools that I've added to my life, 14 years ago, and have still some of the basic tools continue to contribute to me, and they open up more in my life. And that's why for me, this call and also looking at 2025, I'm I don't know if bringing back or I'm opening up in a new way what we call the 5 elements of intimacy. Because one of the things that I'm aware of for myself, ask yourself, but is that I'm so quick to be aware of what everybody else needs, what everybody else wants, what's going to make everyone else happy. And I quickly go to fulfill that. Not saying that's wrong. I'm not saying that's not a good thing. You can choose to do it. But what if you were willing to be aware of when you're choosing that and allow yourself to be in the question, does that actually work for you? Does that actually make you happy? You get to say. And this moment of really willing to go, wow, what's going to work for me? And that's why I shared this example with my sister, Cindy, because I adore her. She's a lot of fun and we enjoy a lot of things. But to actually go, oh, and I'm so grateful because she honored her and she went on or is going to go on her hike. And so for me, these 5 elements of intimacy, honor, trust, vulnerability, gratitude, and allowance. And maybe someone can add it in the chat. So I'm inviting, and if you'd like to play, to explore these elements this coming year. And so for me to start today, it's not like I woke up and said, I'm going to work on honor. I will work on honor. And what am I going to choose to honor me? And if that works for you, put them up, post them somewhere. Allow yourself to play with one of them a day, one of them a week. You will know when you're having the 5 elements of intimacy with you, when there is a lightness in your world. I didn't exclude her. She's still included in my day, but I honored me. I got home, my son's on the sofa, he was watching a movie, and I know there's things to do, and I'm ready to go, hey, did you finish the garage? And he's almost, so what do you got going on today? So, well, I'm going to relax a little bit, and then I'll do a little of the garage. And I'm like, okay. And this is what shows up when you're willing to honor you, you can have that for other people. So, and this is, I'm sharing it as my day started because I'm observing when I have that for me, it's easier to have it for someone else. When you do not have these elements for you, you will start to notice you are not honoring or grateful for other people. You don't trust, that they're going to do what they're going to do until they choose something different. So, what I wonder what else is possible for all of us this coming year that we can embrace these elements in such a different way. So everywhere you have not been willing to have the 5 elements of intimacy with you, will you begin to ask, what would it take for me to be the 5 elements of intimacy with me? What if that's the adventure? Like you get to ask for that every day, to have that with you. And know that everyone else is included. So again, and thank you. I see these incredible ladies are putting this in the chat. So write them down. If you're not familiar with them, you know, there will be more, I'm sure, throughout the year that we'll share. And there's books and lots of things on YouTube you can look at as well. But honor, gratitude, trust, allowance, and vulnerability. So the other thing that inspired me, and I was talking to the team, because the other thing that in these 14 years I've noticed for myself as I've gone through changes, a divorce, changing jobs, traveling, classes that got created and were canceled, abundance of money and then less, things with relationships that change, all of that. One of the things that I know contributes to having that ease, joy, and glory is receiving, is the willingness to increase your receiving. So guess what the side effect is as you add the 5 elements of intimacy? You increase your receiving. You increase your receiving, and you're willing to be aware. Like I'm so grateful for this like little moment that I'm sharing with you guys, because when I walked in, I was like, my son would have been right there. And I'm gonna have a Zoom, I'm gonna sit here. Like I didn't say, get out of the way. It was just like, you can choose to be there. Right. But that space allows me not only to have that ease for me, but also the ease with other people around me. Now, not right or wrong. I could have told him, please move. That could have still been a choice. But that space of giving him that space to choose what works for him, that honoring, holding him in regard to let him know so he had time to move. So again, my target is to increase my receiving with way more ease. And I know that these 5 elements of intimacy, honor, gratitude, and trust, allowance, and vulnerability, has that. So honoring you, holding you in regard, but also other people. And then there's gratitude. So right now, how grateful are you for you right now? What percentage would you say? Not right or wrong. Cool. Someone wrote 80. You can write it in the chat if you'd like. It's interesting. I had this cousin I hadn't seen in a long time. Got to show off my earrings. Okay. I'm grateful for my earrings. Aren't they beautiful? I know Natalia can appreciate them. It's an artist from India. They're all handmade, really beautiful and light. Anyways, I had a cousin come over last night, and she just started to acknowledge something of what she's just seen of how I'm showing up in the world. And I got teary-eyed, like I was moved. And I was like, oh, wow, this is the part of acknowledging what you're choosing and how it's showing up in the world and contributing. So I'm asking you of how grateful you are for you, because sometimes we think that, to be grateful for us, we got to have that job or that relationship or that body. It's like, no, like what space are you in? What are you choosing in your day simply by smiling? I know it sounds ridiculous. It really does, but try it. It's like going into this gym. I don't know anyone and I'm new to things and, being vulnerable, going, I don't even know how to work the locker. Where do I go? I just told the ladies, I'm going to follow you guys. You guys are the experts. They were giving me all these tips, but that smile, and I could notice that as I met each lady, they were like, oh, like I know they noticed I was different. That smile and that ease and that relaxation, that part is what I desire more in the world. And I know the smile can contribute to that. So if you're having a shitty day, if this New Year's Eve is like, what the fuck, try it. Just smile. Just smile. Like, try it right now. Just, it sounds crazy and it changes something. So I'm going to invite you guys today. Oh, thank you, Natalia. And I'm going to invite you all as today goes, wherever you're at in the world, whatever hour it is, and if you're already on the next day, Happy New Year. But as things come up and you're aware of different things, please stop yourself and go, wow, what am I grateful for me right now? Not what I did, not what I accomplished. What am I grateful for? I have this other beautiful lady that I met recently that's on here, Adriana Rios, and I met her in Peru and then I saw her in Ecuador. But she has a level of energy. Like, I'm like, oh man, I thought I had a lot of energy, but I'm so grateful for that. I'm so grateful to have this vibrancy of living and enthusiasm in the world, but I'm wondering if Adriana is grateful for herself for having that much energy, because this is like sometimes.
Filed for bankruptcy. You may contact the FDA.
Michelle, yes, I will contact the FDA. No, Kera, someone's trying to get in and bust our joy. Not happening. No. So, anyways, I mentioned what I'm grateful for with Adriana. She goes, sometimes I feel a freak because of that. But thanks for reminding me of that. Yes. And you know what, Adriana? You are a freak in this reality. This is the part that I'm realizing because I have a level of ease and joy that's a lot. It's a lot of energy, and I do sometimes I try to hold it back or suppress it so that other people don't feel bad. So other people, I don't know, don't think I'm crazy. But it's like, all right, I'm just gonna allow for more. I'm just gonna allow for more. So Adriana, like, okay, what if you could just say, yep, I'm a freak, but I'm one happy, energized freak, and that's okay. So anyway, so really thankful for that. And what if we didn't judge whatever we're being, whether it's like even my son relaxing on the sofa. If I don't judge myself and I have that ease, honoring when my body needs to relax, it'll be easier to notice, hey, that's what he's choosing right now. Not right, not wrong. I'm grateful that he chooses what works for him. I am. He's very strong in that. And it hasn't always been easy between us. So to have that level of ease, um, yeah. And he reminds me yesterday, I think I came in and he had taken everything out of the car, but he had not started this project we have in the garage. And I was like, you haven't started. And he's all, thank you for getting everything out of the car, like reminding me to be grateful in this very fun way. So, you may have people with you and around that might remind you, not in a nice way, but if you can have the joy of that, what could you then receive? And thank you. Anne just posted the new clearing statement by Dane up on YouTube. Thank you so much. Okay, so and if you guys have questions, raise your hand. There's nothing formal about this. If anything, I was just telling my team going, oh, I'd like to do a call. I hadn't scheduled it. And I was like, okay, 5 elements of intimacy. So the other one, we did honor, trust. Vulnerability is a very interesting one. For me, vulnerability, wow, it's if you all know the tools of access consciousness, you've heard of dropping your barriers, right? Drop your barriers. This allows you to increase your receiving. And it can be intense. Many of us, we can perceive the world so much. We have barriers up just so we can walk out the door, right? And do anything. You're like, oh, barriers up. And when I first discovered this tool, I thought, okay, barriers down. And I lowered them as low as I thought they could go. And then throughout the years, I realized, oh, wait, they're not actually that low. They may be lower than most, but not as low as I can have them. And I remember the first time I became aware of that, and I had to almost physically like imagine my foot stepping on whatever that wall was to bring it down, to bring it down. And I'm like, wow, it's all those spaces we're hiding from us, from other people, everything we think is so awful, terrible about us, hidden in those dark coves, locked up in that box, buried under piles of cement, so that no one will ever have access to them. For whatever reason, we'll think they'll separate from us, they'll leave us, they'll hate us. And I remember when I dropped and dropped and dropped, and I'm all right, if this means I die, if this means I dissolve and melt and I disappear and end up all by myself, I'm going to drop them. And that first time, I just remember the tears coming down my face because it was this space of like, all right, you're like actually going to see me a little naked here. And with all the judgments I have of what I'm hiding, I'm not sure I'm ready for that, but here it goes. So, what have you been hiding from you, from others, thinking it's the worst and most terrible thing about you? Yeah. So, would you be willing to drop your barriers, even if it's just on this call right now? But if you cry, it's okay. You can use your sleeve. If you don't have tissue, it's all right. And just drop them more. And, I'm so grateful. Someone, mentioned Dane and his clearing statement. Dane, Gary, Simone Millicis, just, and many others. But these three beautiful people that Dane especially has this way of being so vulnerable in sharing what he's going through and the change. I'm like, fuck, this man is, this being, this has such this courage to go and not let anything be hidden. And that invitation, I'm all, wow, all right. I'll receive that much of that right now. And I know I can choose more later. Like, don't judge yourself for any of it, but know that you can always invite yourself to more. Now, what may show up for you and may not, but it's this sense of feeling raw, like everything's exposed. And there was a moment this year where I just like something had cracked open. And I remember I was out in Prague and on a walk, and I was noticing the beautiful flowers, and I'd start to cry. It's like I would notice beautiful things and I'm like, what the heck is going on? But there was such this openness to receiving that it moved me. So vulnerability, I'm looking to explore that more because I know I have places I'm still judging. I'm still hiding. I'm still thinking I, need to cover up for whatever reason. Things that I am aware of and things I'm not aware of. So that's just the invitation I'm choosing and inviting you to. It's like, wow, if we chose to have more of that, what would we open up to receiving? And I've heard Dane say it, and I get glimpses of it. It's like, oh, I would actually receive more of me. You would actually receive more of you. And it might be greater, brighter, more beautiful, more potent, more kind than you've ever allowed yourself to receive. Because the other thing that shows up is I have these amazing, beautiful people I know all around the world. And, when Gary or Dane have gone to acknowledge me, I can only receive so much because I'm not willing to have that for me. How could I possibly be that great? And I'm sharing this with you because you may have people saying wonderful things to you, grateful for you, but you will not be able to receive them completely if you're not willing to have them for you. So, what would it be like to increase these 5 elements of intimacy for ourselves this coming year? Just because we can. Just what would be different? So, the other thing I know for myself and what I really enjoy is playing while I'm on this planet. It's like we have this beautiful planet. And it's always like, I don't know if you guys follow me on Instagram, but I just recently went skydiving and people are like, why? Like, what? Like, Sylvia, I didn't know you would do that. I'm all, this is like my fourth time. It's been a long time, but it's just something crazy. Believe me, when I'm on the plane and they open that door, it's like, what the fuck am I choosing? And yet, once I jump and once I'm in the sky, I'm all, this is so awesome. But I know I have a level of desiring to choose to play on this planet that may be different. And it's not about choose what I choose, but what is that for you? What is your level of play? I also have crazy adventures. I had 8 of my grand nieces and nephews at my house. We were baking pizza and we had ideas of cooking more. And I was like, that's enough, crazy over the top. And it was fun and I enjoyed it. And we may do more this coming new year. But it's like, that's fun for me. And I asked the parents not to come because it's a different space having, me and they're running around, jumping off the sofa. Some are cooking and it's just a mayhem for 3, 4 hours. And yet that works for me. That's part of this joy, this enthusiasm of living. So if I trust myself, I know that I'm going to look for that outrageous adventure. Normal, real, kickback, slow pace works for small periods of time. Not saying that I don't have it in my life, but I tend to have a really full life. So where could you trust you? What works for you? What pace of living do you enjoy? And if you didn't judge it, awesome. My son was just teasing me the other day about reading. He's an avid reader, and he's all, because I remember watching my mom because my cousin was here, and he's all, yeah, she'd pick up a book and she would only read to fall asleep. Like I'll read a few pages and then pass out. It's like the one time I'm so relaxed, I'm out. That and receiving bars knocks me out. But it's like he's an avid reader. I enjoy reading, but I don't do it for long periods. But if we don't judge ourselves, we can trust, oh, this is what I enjoy. So, what can you trust about you that you can begin to enjoy and not make it wrong? I can trust that I'm going to book my day back to back to back to back. I'm going to trust that. My team knows like, oh shoot, that didn't make it on the calendar. I had something else scheduled. Like it's pretty can be pretty tight. But that's what works for me. If something different works for you and you like to have spaces of nothing scheduled, it's not wrong. Not wrong at all. So grateful. Simone just shared the other day that she's been just relaxing, watching Netflix, and there was a slight moment where I went to, oh, I haven't been doing that. I've been like partying out. I have a friend here in Santa Rosa, Irene. We've been going out a couple nights in a row. And I was like, that hasn't been the energy for me. And I caught myself. It's like, oh, so how many of you go to compare yourself to someone else and then go into judgment? So if you didn't choose that, if you didn't judge you and just go, hey, right on, like, would that be something I'd like to do? Maybe, but not right now. It's not wrong. Cool. So what if you could trust that you're going to choose what you're going to choose until you choose something different? All right. And here's the big one. Here's the big one. And they're all huge and will contribute tremendously. For me, allowance. Allowance is going to be the key to unlock to everything you're asking for way more ease, joy, and glory. Allowance that you are where you're at, that you've chosen what you've chosen. It's not right. It's not wrong. And the same thing, when you go out in the world, there's a lot moving, a lot changing in all countries, all around the globe. And if things get intense, please ask for your allowance to exceed your awareness. There's moments I have actually have a lot of fun swearing because I don't tend to do it really often, but sometimes I'll be driving, get the fuck out of my way. And yet it's like, okay, that allowance of, everything everyone else is choosing, but also having allowance for me. If I get up and I don't make my bed, am I going to judge myself for it? Just be like, I didn't make my bed. Walking in yesterday, getting on my son, have you started the garage? And him gently reminding me to be grateful of what he did choose. And I was like, all right, didn't make myself wrong, had allowance, and just noticed it. Just notice what you're choosing and ask, what else would you like to choose? Is there something different? So if you can have that allowance for you and then it'll be easier to have it for others. So start to notice, are there people in your life that you're not grateful for, that you don't trust, that you're not an allowance, that you're not honoring or holding in regard? And ask yourself, do I have that with me? Am I honoring me today? Am I grateful for me? Do I trust me? Do you trust you and you have your own back? Do you have allowance for you? And all of that will open up way more vulnerability to receive what other people are choosing with no point of view. And here's the greatest side effect. As you have that, your receiving increases. And guess what also comes as you increase your receiving? More money, more money, more money, more money, more money. So don't try it this year. Don't have any fun with these 5 elements of intimacy. Don't increase your receiving. Suffer the reality. It's awful. Everything's going to mayhem. Or you can choose to play with some of these incredible access consciousness tools. There's so many of them. So many. Choose the ones that work for you. My invitation on this call was to remind us of the 5 elements of intimacy, to know that we can start a new year really from choosing what works for us, not excluding anyone, but allowing yourself to have the joy of living, the exuberance, as freaky as we can be. I dare anybody to be freakier than Adriana Rios. If anybody can do that, let me know. And I'm teasing her because she is just a beautiful, beautiful being that just keeps choosing, as many of you are. So thank you for coming on. I'm so grateful. Thank you for celebrating my morning as we have the last day of this 2024. And I'm just wondering, what else could you choose for you today that would bring that smile and joy, that would allow you that exuberance of living and play? The other thing that I've chosen, for those of you that know the access consciousness tools, we have access bars and body processes. So I'm all like, I know they've contributed to me in having more ease as I've gone through change. So I committed, I've scheduled, and I have at least 3 times a week that I'm receiving bars or body processes, because that gets me out of my head. That contributes to my body in that space of ease. So if you have heaviness in your world, please find someone to run your bars with. Trade body processes. If you don't know about the body process, there's many facilitators around the world. I have actually, one of my first classes in 2024 is with Dr. Claudia Cano. We're going to co-facilitate 3-day body class at El Lugar, Costa Rica. Yay! If you don't know about El Lugar, maybe someone can put the link here. They actually have a special that was extended till January 3rd that you can get 20% off your room rate. You can buy the tickets in advance through their website, and there's a promotional code called Beyond. Is it Beyond Possibility? Oh, we'll have to put it, well, Beyond Possibility 2025. Can someone see if they can find it and put it in the chat? It's a great deal. If El Lugar is so nurturing and kind. Thank you. Beyond Possible 20. Thank you, Jenny. And there's the promotion. So if you know you're going to El Lugar and you're able to purchase your stay, it's a great way to gift you, maybe stay an extra night with what you save. But Claudia Cano and I are facilitating 28th, 29th, and 30th, a 3-day body class. So you're all invited. It would be so awful to have you there enjoying your body, horse riding, bird watching, and enjoying all of that. It's so beautiful. Adriana, oh, thanks a lot, Sylvia. I want to hug you. You can. You will soon. She says, when I remember when we met, just your energy made me feel at home. Kind of weird to explain, but so good to feel. Your presence makes me want to continue just being just me. I'm going to Lugar. Yay! She's choosing it. And thank you for that, Adriana, because what if, because when I met Adriana, there was that sense like we've known each other. There's this space. And with all the people I had met, but what if when you're being you, you invite other people to have that sense of them? So you now have more of a sense of you from the space that you perceived in me. So what else is possible? What else is possible? And thank you. That space of being home. Yeah, what are you guys all asking for? And what if 5 elements of intimacy can contribute to you having more of you? That's the target, really. Not defined, this is Sylvia, but the space of that lightness, knowing you, please know you always have choice. As crazy and fucked up as things seem, whatever area of your life that might just seem so awful, please know you always have another choice. Always, 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 always. And I am so grateful. I want to thank my impotent motherfucking team. Michelle, who's on. I don't know if Patricia's on. They've just have contributed in so many ways. And Michelle has done an incredible, incredible gift. And anytime I speak to her, she's always so happy. I cannot be upset. Oh, sorry, my camera's gone. But I love it because she's always like, yay! She's always like this rah rah energy. And I'm so grateful for that. And she has a gold medal in chaos. Because if anybody knows me, I'm a big ball of chaos that moves at a high speed. And then sometimes hits the brakes. So what if this last day of 2024, we do not judge ourselves for any of it, none of it, and add the gratitude, the trust, the vulnerability, the allowance, and the honoring. So have way too much fun being you. Enjoy your day, whatever it is that you choose. And I so look forward to 2025. We have some other mini classes. There's one on money because I love money and my love of money is increasing. And I know that because of the money that I have, but I'm still noticing where I'm so quick to say ciao. So anyways, that's a topic for another call. And I'm just so looking forward to changing all of it and having way, way more. So Feliz Año Nuevo, everyone. Happy New Year. Enjoy you. And just allow yourself to be as joyful in whatever space that you choose, whatever ever you choose. Happy to see your beautiful faces. Thank you. Thank you. Enjoy. Yay. Bye, everyone. Thank you.